The story started when Jake Paul, a popular YouTuber, surprised his followers by transitioning into a professional boxer. In February 2018, KSI, a UK-based YouTuber, publicly challenged Jake and Logan Paul, proposing a fight against him and his brother, Deji. The brothers had their first boxing match in August 2018, which Jake claims was the biggest amateur fight in the history of the sport. Jake won the fight against Deji. Jake says that getting into boxing felt easy. When he was controversial in the YouTube world, sponsors didn't want to work with him and his videos were demonetized. But, as Jake says in Jake Paul, the problem child, in the world of boxing, being the villain is the best thing. 2020, Jake starts to build his boxing career. On January 30th, 2020, Jake made his professional boxing debut with a fight against YouTuber Ann Essen-Gibb. Jake won the fight in the first round with a technical knockout. Following the win, sports media personalities and boxing purists criticized Jake and other YouTubers for ruining the sport of boxing. In November 2020, Jake took his boxing to the next level and defeated former professional athlete Nate Robinson in a fight in under 2 rounds. In November 2020, Jake took his boxing to the next level and defeated former professional athlete Nate Robinson in a fight in under 2 rounds. By that time, Nakisa Bidarian, former CFO of UFC, had seen a unique opportunity with Jake to disrupt fight sports and become his manager and business partner. He had 45 million people that consume his content, so if we go and turn this into a fighter, wow, what a competitive advantage versus any other fighter that's out there, Bidarian says in the interview. 2021, Jake defeats 2 professional mixed martial artists. On April 17, 2021, Jake defeated former MMA athlete Ben Askren. Ahead of the fight, Jake taunted Askren in videos, telling him, "I promise to make you go down in history as the world's worst UFC fighter." Later that year, on December 18th, in a rematch fight against MMA fighter Tyron Woodley, Jake defeated him with a knockout in the 6th round. As a result of that knockout, Jake became kind of an overnight sensation, Bidarian says in Jake Paul the Problem Child. Jake's professional boxing record was 5-0. 2022, Jake feuds with UFC president Dana White. In January 2022, Jake was publicly feuding with UFC president Dana White and taunted him on YouTube with a diss track, claiming the UFC underpaid and failed to provide adequate health care for fighters. According to The Guardian, the feud began after Jake offered to retire from boxing if the UFC president agreed to better pay and health care provisions. Jake later told ESPN he planned to start a fighters' union. Later that year, on October 29, 2022, Jake defeated Anderson Silva, described as one of the greatest UFC athletes of all time, taking his professional boxing record to 6-0. February 2023, Jake fights professional boxer Tommy Fury. On February 26, 2023, Jake fought professional boxer and former Love Island star Tommy Fury in Saudi Arabia. Despite his undefeated fighting record, sports personalities and fighters said they wouldn't respect Jake until he fought a real boxer. The fight garnered more than 800,000 PPV buys globally, according to Bidarian. After a close and tense fight, Fury took the win by a split decision, giving Jake his first loss. "You're not the man I thought you were," he told Jake. "You're a tough man. You'll go a long way." In the end, the match with Tommy Fury showed that Jake Paul is ready to take on a real boxer his own age, proving that he was making good choices with his opponents. Even though he didn't win this time, the experience helped Jake learn and gain more respect as he continues his journey in the professional boxing world. He posted a video on YouTube saying how this was so important for him and how it grew him as a person. 2023, Jake confronts MMA fighter Nate Diaz in the boxing ring. Jake and Logan Paul now live in Puerto Rico, where Jake trains every day. In the YouTube world, "Not only was I not making progress, I was hurting myself," he says in Jake Paul the Problem Child. "When I got into something where I could slowly start to make progress, it brought back happiness in my life, and boxing gave me that again." Jake's most recent professional fight took place on August 5, 2023 in Dallas, Texas against professional mixed martial artist Nate Diaz, who recently dismissed Jake and said that he was going to whoop his ass. Jake apparently did the whooping, however, defeating Diaz in a unanimous decision and improving his record to 7-1. Jake Paul's boxing career has been both impressive and contentious. Many individuals have criticized him and accused him of disrespecting the sport and picking easy opponents. Others, though, have shown him respect and admiration for his hard work and progress in boxing. He's also increased the sport's visibility and revenue by attracting millions of viewers and supporters through his social media platforms. Jake Paul became a boxing badass by following his dreams and working hard to accomplish them. He has demonstrated that he is not afraid to take risks and challenge himself against a variety of opponents. He has also demonstrated that he is more than simply a YouTuber or entertainer. He is a legitimate boxer capable of competing at a high level. Some of you would not agree, but in the end, we all know that it's just business. After defeating Nate Diaz in a boxing match, what's next for Jake Paul? After the bout was over, Jake Paul called for a rematch with Diaz in MMA. Paul has signed an exclusive deal with the PFL, and Paul is supposedly offering Diaz $10 million to win the rematch in MMA. For what it's worth, Diaz is around minus 1200 in the opening lines for a potential MMA matchup. A lot will come down to the type of deal that Diaz would have to sign in order for the fight to happen with the PFL. I break down Diaz's next options here. We know that Jake Paul will make his MMA debut sometime in early 2024 for the PFL. However, we don't know if that's going to be his next stop in combat sports or if he'll be boxing again. In October, fellow social media star KSI will be boxing Tommy Fury. I could see Paul fighting the winning of that matchup before he stepped into the MMA cage. That matchup will need to happen before anything is settled, but I'm fairly confident that Paul's next opponent will be one of these three: Nate Diaz, Tommy Fury, or KSI. We might even catch a glimpse of Jake versus Conor McGregor. Jake Paul was irritated when Conor McGregor referred to him as a donkey. For years, Paul and McGregor have ridiculed one another, with Paul asking for a boxing match between them. On August 7, 2023, Jake tweeted about McGregor, saying, "Buddy, you need to get into rehab and then USADA. Until then, shut the fuck up. Floyd toyed with you. Dustin chinned you up. Khabib and Nate choked you out. And I will put you in the coffin for good, even as juiced up as you are." Which Conor replies to with this: "I'm gonna serve up your liver on a sandwich in the trilogy. Out straight. I won't even hit you in the face." That was abysmal last night. Paul was a retard. Absolute garbage he is. Moving back, and during an interview on Logan Paul's podcast Impulsive, the former YouTuber responded to the criticisms by saying, "Conor McGregor is hilarious in my opinion. Guess what, Conor? I'll beat the fucking fuck out of you, and you can't box as well as I can, and I'm gonna do to Nate what you couldn't, which is knock him out. But the money fight will always be there, and I will knock Nate Diaz out and make you realize I'm best fight for you. Phone me and I'll answer." Paul continued by saying, "I respect him, but I'm gonna screw him up. That's fine and all, but this is the entertainment industry. It's one of the most important fights in combat sports that can be made right now, especially after what I did to Nate Diaz." That's it for this episode of Paul's boxing journey. We have seen how Paul rose from a YouTube star to a professional boxer, defeating some of the biggest names in combat sports. He has shown his skills, power and determination in every fight, and he's not afraid to take on new challenges. He has revealed that he will make his professional MMA debut with the PFL, where he will face some of the top fighters in the world. I would love to see him go against Conor McGregor and see how he holds against him. How will he fare in this new environment? Will he be able to recreate his boxing success? Stay tuned for the following episode, in which we will follow Paul's MMA career and see what lies ahead for him. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. See you next time.